Hey guys, welcome. We're going to do a run through on heroes, kind of season 1, 2, 3. So I think hopefully this will be kind of relatively easy to follow. It's not going to be a tier list or anything like that. I'm going to talk through the different heroes, different approaches, my views on things. We can touch on some of the aspects as far as widgets and hero gear, etc. But I think, given from a time perspective, I don't want this to go on for too long, and happy to then take any questions that people have and creating additional videos that may be of interesting and of relevance from based on what we kind of talk about today. So we'll focus season 1 first, and we'll work through the rare, which are the blue heroes, then to the SR heroes, which are the purple heroes, and then the SSR, which are the yellow, gold, and mythic heroes. And then we'll go into season 2, season 3. So from a season 1 perspective, these rare heroes, the reality is they're fine. Their skills are there. If you look at their conquest skills, which is what you use in arena, they're useful early game. You can level them up, but very quickly they become less relevant. Where they are useful is on the expedition side. So not from an attacking perspective, but from a resource perspective. So apologies, there's some sanctuary battles going on at the moment, so I keep getting notifications. But I think these are useful, help you from a resource perspective, both in your town and from a gathering perspective. Upgrade them. That's relevant, useful. Don't need to really worry about anything else. It's the same for each of them within their relevant space, but yes, they can be used from an arena perspective early on, but I don't think we're going to spend any time going through them. So it's pretty straightforward. You'll be able to see the different levels, but there's not a huge amount to add. And again, I'll just show you quickly, but I do have my gear on them, but it's of no real point. You don't need to have gear on them. You're not using them from a battle perspective, but it's just because I have excess gear at this stage. So then if we jump into the SR, so the purple heroes, or super rare heroes. So both the rare, i.e. the blue heroes, and the SR, so the purple heroes, they're all available from the beginning of season 1. There are new purple or blue heroes after that. But we can quickly go through from a priority perspective. So I think Howard is priority number 1. The reality with him is that he's infantry. It's unless you're paying, and we'll go through those heroes in a bit, but unless you're paying, he's the only infantry that you're going to be able to get from season 1 perspective. From a skill perspective, he's solid in arena. Also, his expedition skills are solid as well. So not going to say that from it's fine from a joiner perspective, but he's good, and this is reality. So probably because there is limited infantry options, he's probably priority number 1, but you can level up pretty quickly, but he's useful in that early game. Diana, again, she's fine from an arena perspective. All these are fine from an arena perspective, but they quickly get outpowered by the kind of SSR heroes. From an expedition perspective, she's there to reduce stamina cost and speed. So that's it. You're not going to be sending her out from a battle perspective, but she is available. You can develop her shard pretty quickly from this specific event. So the desert trial. So it comes around relatively often, I think every 2 weeks, and you can get additional shards running 10. You can obviously find an additional one. I'll just run it for the sake of the video. Get her, and I always use her because she reduces my stamina cost. But relatively easy from getting her as far as the shards from those events and joining other people's rallies. So when someone else runs a rally for her, you've got the opportunity to get shards as well. So she's solid, but becomes pretty much one usage hero pretty quickly. Chenko is probably the one which I would say is the MVP when it comes to the SR heroes, just because primarily this skill here on the right. So she's still probably one of, if not the number 1 joiner from their perspective, which is really useful from a rally perspective. She's also really solid in an arena, so these conquest skills, again, those become less relevant quite quickly, but she's great. So again, if I was to prioritise it, and where I prioritised because I did have the SSR infantry was from a purple or an SR perspective was Chenko. So she's great. Quickly running through from there. So Quinn, again, he's solid. Again, from an arena perspective, he's got some nice skills. From a conquest perspective, he's decent from a garrison perspective. He's a solid all-round archer. But again, depending on what you do with the SSR and going into next season, he pretty quickly kind of disappears from relevance. Gordon, he's really useful early on from a garrison perspective because of this top right skill here. So again, probably if you look for one for attack, one for defense, if you're looking from a rally joiner perspective, then it'd be Chenko and Gordon would be the 1 and 2 priority when it comes to that. But Gordon becomes less relevant more quickly, I think, than Chenko. So Chenko continues to be useful from a bear perspective and equally from a rally attack perspective. So He's good. Then the kind of next two, again, Yunwu, she's good from a bear perspective again. Joiner, the problem is there's a positive and negative at the same time here. Is the second skill is increases research speed, so that's great. Actually, from your town development or research development perspective, but the reality is that it's something which it's not so useful from obviously when you're looking at the expedition perspective. So as a joiner, super solid, great for bear, but that's about it really. Weirdly, actually, though, I'd say Yuanwe and Marne and Fards, their kind of hero shards are much harder to come by. So I'm not sure if there was an intent or view that they would develop later because they were more powerful or whatever. Doesn't appear to be the case, but anyway, they're kind of useful. But I think, going on to Marne, it's similar. So Marne, that top right skill, really good from a bear perspective, solid. This bottom right skill, again, healing, solid, really good, useful throughout onwards. So definitely max this as and when you can. But again, aside from joining, I wouldn't, because of only one skill being prevalent, there's no point in having a rally lead. Also, because these three that I've just mentioned have been harder to level up, the reality is I haven't used them in arena, so it's almost impossible to say they may have been better than some of the others, but because their shards are hard to come by to level them up, they didn't level up in line with the others, they weren't used, and then at this stage now they're not relevant. So final one's Fard. The thing with him is he's basically, this is an interesting one potentially from a garrison perspective. Again, I think because he takes so long to level up, it becomes less relevant. And then this skill is useful from solo hunting march speed. So if you're hunting beasts and you've got the auto hunt on or whatever, having Fard, Diana, and then one other means that you're doing as quickly and efficiently as possible. So useful hero. Again, I don't know whether there was a plan for this skill to be more beneficial, but I think because of the misalignment of how quickly these heroes can be developed versus the other SRs, they became less relevant. They're just kind of sat there. But it's all good. Moving then on to the Season 1 SSR heroes. So the first one, which everyone should have access to and should in time level up, is Jable. She's in the intel mission, she's with the keys. I think she's different events as well. Everyone should level up. Really good skills, both from an arena perspective and also from an expedition perspective. So the only thing is, because of this top right skill, she's not a joiner. Please do not put her as a rally joiner, even if she's your top powered SSR hero. People make that mistake all the time. Chenko is far better from an attack perspective. Gordon is far better from a defensive perspective, and others. So any joiner, you want to be aware of this top right skill. If it's a chance based, it's not useful really. So you want straight either an increase as far as 20% lethality increase, or a decrease, 20% damage taken, decrease. Those straight numbers, they're more valuable. And again, from an SSR perspective, these heroes, you can maximise them by building on each other. So you could have, not Jable, she's not the best one, but another SSR hero. So for example, Saul, who we'll get onto shortly, that you can have 4 of him joining, and then his skill will kind of combine. So again, useful to kind of be aware of, but Jable, everyone should be able to max, because where you can get it from, useful. The big thing with SSR heroes is that you can obviously get the widgets done. So the widgets are really useful, make a big difference. Big thing to be aware of is look at it from 2 levels. So conquest is obviously the arena stuff. The expedition stuff is when you're going to battle and doing rallies, etc. Do it every 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Because of the odd numbers, you're getting conquest, which is fine. And you'll see here I got level 5 because I basically stopped upgrading her because I didn't want to invest in her anymore, and that's fine. But realistically, I should have either stopped at level 4 or gone to level 6 to maximise that. Also, and we'll do a separate video on widgets, but just be aware of, I think they are a big aspect as far as, one, they're difficult for low spenders and free to play players, but not impossible, and we'll talk about them. But they have a big impact on the performance. So it's, people can view it potentially as dead money to a certain extent, because the reality is you're putting it very much into a hero which may not be relevant in a couple of seasons, but equally at the same time, if you don't have any widgets on them, the hero is not really relevant versus heroes even from previous seasons with widgets. So we'll talk about it separately, but useful to be aware of. Then who else we have? So this is where we get the pay to win category, so to speak. So the VIP, so Helga, again, she's useful. Early VIP levels you can pay to level her up. The skills are solid. From arena she's actually very good early on. She's a solid. All of these are really solid. Actually, to be honest, it's just more the power level quickly decreases, or not decreases, but it becomes less relevant as other heroes come on the scene in future seasons. But again, the reality of the widget again is good, but I kind of stopped moving her forward because I then got on to Amadeus, and Amadeus is the superstar, the cover star, so to speak. So I think with him, if you look at this top right skill, it's awesome. So from a joiner perspective and from an attack perspective, he's probably the best joiner. But again, from a rally lead perspective, the fact that all of his skills are attack from an infantry perspective, and the reality that his widget as well is an attack-based widget is quite unique. So from an infantry perspective, he will be kind of rally leads from an infantry side of things for a number of seasons. So again, you've got to spend a lot of money to get him fully leveled up all the way for max stars as VIP 12. But I think he's a superstar, so definitely someone I'd recommend if you want to spend money on the game. But if you don't, then in later seasons, I think in season 4 onwards, we're getting into that stage now. There are other potential heroes that may overtake him. So I don't know. I have a feeling that they'll continue to update him and for him to be relevant, just because of the reality of people spending on him. He's great. And then the final one from season 1 is Saul. So Saul, we got a bad rap. And I think someone which actually the reason for it is there's really a lack of understanding as far as early game what is important for hero. So actually, if you look at this top right skill here, that probably makes him the best joiner hero in the game, even up into season 3, because these skills can stack. So if you've got a number of players in your alliance that have him at level 5, have him as joiners. From a defensive perspective, obviously, we're talking here defensive from a garrison perspective, having him being the joiner, he is probably the best. Next season we've got, or season 2, is Hilde, which we can talk about as well. But I think he's great. The other thing is as well, his bottom right, and I haven't got this fully maxed yet because actually I kind of ignored him and didn't level him up because I was listening to other people on YouTube and some people in the alliance saying he's a waste of time. But both of those, this skill and the top right skill, because they are kind of squad, the reality is like these are giving buffs to the squad. So actually he is someone which, as we go into next season to season 4, it could be a situation where he is the best kind of archer from a 60-40-0 formation. So 60 infantry, 40 cavalry, 0 archers because of this buff. And actually I do use him in my 60-40 formation in Mystic Trial. So again, something that hasn't really been confirmed yet, we will see, but I think actually he's someone, because he was on the roulette, actually it makes sense if you can, free to play, low spend, or even if you're obviously the big spender, he's worth maxing out. So continuing onto season 2. So season 2, the kind of number 1 is Zoe. So Zoe's the roulette hero. So Zoe, I would focus on prioritising her but getting her fully maxed. Super solid from a skill perspective. She's actually not great from an arena, despite the conquest skills looking decent. So she currently just sits in the front for me currently and is kind of sacrificed. But from an expedition perspective, she's great. So again, depending on what you've done with other heroes, what level you've got them to, but it's no-brainer, I think, for every type of player. So free to play, low spender through to the whales, everyone should be aiming to max her out, or at least getting from a star level to 4, so you can kind of max out those skills. So she's great. So no questions. Everyone should be making sure that if they do her. Then the next one is probably Marlin. Marlin, I max him out from a skill perspective, both from arena and from expedition perspective. He's great. So he's a big damage dealer from a bear perspective, which was a big reason why I wanted to get him maxed out as quickly as possible. I've got his widget fully maxed. So again, for me, the widgets, you just look at the expedition, that's the important thing. Conquest kind of comes as part of it, but the expedition is the reason why you're doing it. But again, rally squad lethality 15%, that's great. So he was a no-brainer for me, but obviously depending on what you want to invest and spend. And then the last one is kind of Hilde, and Hilde is solid. Like, she's great kind of defense, garrison, cavalry. I think the reality for me is I stopped upgrading her because we got into the next season, and I think the following 2 season cavalry are more interesting. So Petra, who we'll get onto from an attack perspective, and then the season 4 cavalry from a defence perspective is the one that basically enables you to do the 60-40 formation. And that being said, also her shards will come in as season 4 from a hero perspective. So something to be aware of as well. The SSR heroes, once you get 2 seasons past them, their shards will go into intel and to the keys, etc. So it's a situation where I just understand where your priorities are, but again, she's solid from a joiner perspective. This is great. So this top right skill. So she's kind of both from a defensive and also from an attack perspective. From castle KBK, she's useful. So where are we then? Then I think I'm into season 3. So season 3, the obvious is Petra again. She's on the roulette. So Petra, from a skill perspective, she is chance based. So there's positives and negatives to this. The reality is she can do some serious damage, and also she can be kind of a non-impact player. So she's great for Bear, continues to be great for Bear as I understand it for a number of seasons to come. She's good in arena, but is one of those which is a bit of a question mark because you don't know what you're going to get from her. So it means that sometimes people at lower power can beat you. It also means that sometimes people with higher power than you that challenge you lose. So there's pros and cons to it, but I think overall she's a great one. And because she's roulette, free to play, low spender throughout, everyone can get her. So she's a no-brainer. The widget as well is a good widget. So again, it's an attack-based widget. So for me, absolutely, if you can, max her out, or at least 4 levels, 4 stars rather. The next one is Jaeger. Again, he got a bit of a bad rap. The reality for him is he's from a defense garrison perspective. If you're leading that garrison, he is the best archer to have for that. And again, from his widget perspective, a situation where if you max that out, he's great. So I think he will eventually get leveled up for me. I'm just waiting for prep to be able to utilise his stars, and the great thing, he's been hero of the season, so I've been able to get shards of his from placing well in events. And then the last one is Eric. So Eric, I haven't upgraded. The main reason why is because the infantry in season 4, which is just around the corner, Alcar is meant to be amazing. So I've held off on Eric. I've upgraded him a little bit, but I've held off to a large extent. He, again, from a defensive perspective, is awesome. So it's going to be a situation where I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with him once the next season comes around. But hopefully this is useful, and if you have any questions, do let me know. Thanks, guys.